Alright folks, we're back, and in actuality it's been a week and a half since we last filmed, and I apologize for that. Got a little down with the flu, had to recover, and also I got kind of swamped with orders to actually get some coolers out, so I had to stop filming and actually get down to actually working on some. This is the last one that I'll be doing before Christmas. This will finish up the orders that I've taken. This will be actually number 49 that I've done since November. So obviously a lot of demand for these types of things. So this is the cooler that I kept showing in the previous video, wanting to get to this point. Unfortunately, I never got to show you the shell part of it. And hopefully in a later video I'll get to do that. But a couple of things that I wanted to show you now, and hopefully I'll have time with this, and I've got to have it finished in a couple of days. But and as I said before, you could do these in one day, but when you're working full time and you only have nighttime to actually work on them, it kind of does take a little bit longer. Now, if I wanted to stay up all night, I could finish this cooler, and probably will get everything done on this one that I need to do tonight. It may cut into the filming just a little bit, but I'm going to show you just some of the basics. And so let's get started with that. This cooler looks, except for this top part, which I'm going to explain here in just a minute. This is what we kept showing in the last video of this part here. Nothing else has changed other than I have completed the legs and I have added wheels. And all I've done, turn around to this side here, is that I have taken boards of this width, which are 2.5 inches, see here on the back side, and I have nailed them on the edges. Because here, remember what we're looking for? We're looking for that when you're looking at the front, that's all you want to see. You don't want to see that edge over here. Now you're going to see it over here, obviously, and there's nothing you can do about that. So, but as you're looking at the front of this cooler, you're not going to see that. So I've nailed boards in, and basically I don't measure. I take the actual board, set it in place, and draw my line and cut it to that length so it fits exactly for what I need to fill into that shape. And all I've done, spin it back around a little bit here, apologize for that. All I've done is here again, nails and glue all the way down, and then we have attached casters to the bottom so the cooler is easily movable. And here again, that's just something extra that I do, something that I think the customers like. So if you don't want to do that, that's fine. It does make it a little bit easier to transport into certain areas and that sort of thing. Whoops, gotta watch that. And so a couple of things let me point out here that I apologize for bouncing it all around. I've already added I do this on the front and on the sides. I don't do it on the back, but I've added a couple pieces of trim here and trim down at the bottom, just to give it a more solid look overall. Okay, here again, we're talking free wood, folks. So I mean, I can fill this whole thing up with wood, and it's not going to cost me another penny. So let's keep that in mind. You may have noticed, let's look up here. There we go. On occasion, you're going to have nails where you miss the mark and stuff like that. Very simple. We'll take a pair of pliers, pull that right out. You won't ever see that. Won't do any damage whatsoever. So, and that, that's one of the final steps before we get to the sanding. We'll go through and inspect to see if we've got nails that are sticking out somewhere that we need to take care of. So, also, what I've already done is I have already added the shelf piece to this particular cooler. Now, on this particular cooler, because I'm making it for a friend, it's a little bit wider than I would normally do. This one here is about 5 1/4, and normally I would do about a 4 1/2 or so width. But you know, the sky is the limit as to what you want to do. But I just wanted to give them a nice little surface around the outside of the cooler to work with. All right. Now, if you'll notice, and if you noticed before, or remember from before, or refer back to the video, the handles like this were still on the cooler. Now, what I've done simply is taken my reciprocating saw, and I've just cut them loose from the side, on both sides. That's all I've done, is just cut the handle off. Now, if I could find a use for this, or anybody's got any ideas, let me know, because I could be a rich man. We'll probably have 1,000 of these laying around the backyard. So, we're going to get rid of that. One other thing that I've already done also, now, don't be shocked when I open this cooler up, because it's nasty on the inside, because I haven't cleaned it yet. Get it open. One of the things that I've also already done is cut the cooler top away. And what I mean by that is I've cut the little notches off that protrude out, that actually in reality would hold this cooler top in place. And all I do is use a mini hacksaw blade. I take it, slide it through the groove here and up, and then I just saw it. It takes about 20 seconds to cut that off. Then I cut the next one off here. And then the top is free. The top has got to be free in order for you to attach your cover. Now, you'll notice that, now this is what originally comes with the cooler, that this is still attached. I'm going to take this screw out, but we're going to use this piece. When I first started, I was running all the problems of the cooler lids falling all the way back, or not standing up the way that they should, you know, and I was using chains and different things like that, and then it finally hit me, why not just use the piece that's given to me with the cooler? So that's what I did. And basically what all that will happen is I'll take this screw loose, and there'll be a hole there, not going to affect one thing at all, and I'm going to take this screw and I'll move it probably down to somewhere around in here and just screw it back in. That's it. And then the top will stay stationary just like that, so that when you open it up, the top stays stationary just like that. Okay. So here again, we're using all parts of the cooler that we can that come with it. So what we're going to do next is I need to do the plumbing, and shouldn't put the top back on. And here again, the cooler's dirty on the inside, but don't worry about that. We're going to clean that up. This will be spotless when we're through. So what we're going to do now is we're actually going to drill a hole through a cooler, and then we're going to start running our plumbing through the bottom, and I'm going to show you that process. So let me get my drill and stuff, and I'm going to go ahead and drill the hole. Then I'll come back and show you what it looks like, and then we'll go from there. All right, I'll be back in just a minute. All right, I'm back, and I apologize if the music in the background is a little loud. But you gotta have music to do some, do proper woodworking. All right, so what we have here is a sinkhole cover. You buy these at Lowe's. They come in basically two forms, one with a white and one with a chrome looking finish. The ones with the chrome are a little bit more expensive, so if I can get the white ones, that's what I want. And then we have basically the 4 drill bits that we're going to use to run our entire plumbing. All right, the first one that we're going to do is a inch spade bit, and that's what we're going to use to drill the hole into the cooler. All right, so hold on, let me hook up my drill. All right, what I have here is a Porter cable drill. It's a lithium battery. This is truly a magnificent piece of equipment. It has it's a variable speed, but it has basically a low drive and a high drive, so that if you really need to get in just with some torque, you can put it on one. But if you want to get into some speed, you could switch it to that. So I really like this drill. Costs about 137 bucks. Comes with 2 batteries. Well worth the money. These lithium batteries, which probably most of you are using now, charge in less than 5 to 6 minutes. So you know, when this drill runs out, I pop this one in the charger, take the one that's out in, and I'm good to go for another 40-35 minutes, whatever the case may be. The one thing that did surprise me about the lithium batteries is as opposed to the old oxide batteries and stuff, you could tell when the drill was about to run out because it gets slower and slower. Well, with these babies, when this battery runs out, it just stops. And that could be in mid-drill or screw, whatever the case may be. It just stops, and the battery's dead, and you're not going to go any further. But this is a fantastic piece of equipment. Certainly comes in handy around the house, but we're going to use it to drill our hole. So what we're going to do is I'm going to and this is just line of sight, line it up best I can in the center. If you can see that, all you can see is the drill, but I want it to be a straight hole. So excuse me, I'm going to be off a little bit with the camera. I want to make sure this is right. Alright, so this is where I'm going to drill my hole. Now, one of the things that you may see, not perfectly round. Obviously, I want it to be if at all possible, but that is not an issue. Well, just wasn't bearing down as hard trying to hold the camera and stuff. But that's not going to make any difference whatsoever. What I do want to do is clean this area up around the hole. Like I said, I'm going to clean up the whole cooler, so it's going to look brand new. And I don't even have to really worry about the edges and stuff. But I use an inch bit on that. This here is a 1/2 inch. And what happens, and I'm going to do this one-handed, is this part here unscrews. Just to show you a little bit. There you go. Alright. So that unscrews, and there's actually a gasket. There you go. You can see the gasket right there. So hold on one second. Alright, so what I have my sinkhole cover, which is solid. You look through this, it's solid right now. I have my gasket, and I'm going to put this down in the hole. And then I'm going to take the nut that comes with it, and I'm going to go underneath the cooler, and I'm going to tighten that down. So hold on one second. Alright, so we've got our sink cover in place here. And what we're going to do now is we're going to take another spade bit. Let me get this inch one out. And just by learning from experience, it didn't take but one time. Remember what I said, that this thing is 1/2 inch in diameter as far as the pipe goes. So we do not want to use a 1/2 inch bit. What we're using is a 3/8 inch bit. Okay, if you use a 1/2 inch bit, when you drill through this, then this cover is going to pop off. And so obviously we don't want that. So what we have is a 3/8 inch bit. Here again, we want to get it in the center. Excuse me, we want to get it lined up, and we're going to drill all the way through it. Bingo. So now we have a drain Okay, gasket sealed. Right now this is tightened up as as far as I can get it, and that's important because that's going to play into the measurements that I take on my pipes that we're going to get into in just a minute. So hold on, let me get the cooler turned on its side, and I'll be right back with you. Alright, one thing that I wanted to show you, and you notice I have not turned the cooler on the side as of yet, is I need to drill a hole in this piece here for the actual drain itself. And you'll notice that I have not put the molding on this part here. So the molding is here, but I haven't put the molding on here because I need to drill through this piece first before I attach my molding out here, because that depending on where I put the drain is going to determine how wide this piece needs to be. So it may not be the same width as this piece up here, okay, which makes no difference whatsoever. But I got to make sure that I get this centered up, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to look underneath, and actually I don't know if you were going to be able to see it. There you can. You can see it. You can see the drain sticking out from underneath. So I'm going to take a look at that, see where it's coming down, and get it as close to the center of that as possible. And what I'm going to use is, here again, no spade bit, but this one is going to be 1.5 inches, and I'll explain that to you in just a minute. So give me a second to line this up. Obviously I cannot drill and hold the camera the same on this one here. This is very important. So let me drill this one and get it set, and then I'll come back and explain to you what I've done. All right. But one other thing too, and here again, this is strictly personal preference. This is by no means, but I always put my drains on the right side when you're looking at the front of the cooler. Why? Because that's the way I saw them on the first cooler I ever saw. So my drains always go on this side over here. But that you can run out the back if you wanted to. You know, it makes no difference whatsoever. Here again, left, right, front, that doesn't matter. But just for uniformity or whatever, all of mine are on the right hand side. So let me get this hole drilled here, and I'll be right back with you. Alright, that didn't take long at all. That's the importance of having sharp drill bits. Now, I don't know if you're going to be able to see or not, but yeah, there you can. Alright, if you'll look through there, you'll see the drain plug coming down. That's almost lined up perfectly there. If you're off just a little bit or so, it's not going to make any difference. You can still make your pipe fit. But the reason that I use a 1.5 inch bit on this part is what's going to happen. I'm now going to go out and cut a piece of molding that's going to at least cover that part of it. So it's going to have to be at least that wide. Okay. Here again, this could have easily been a thin board like this one, and it wouldn't make any difference. But I need to make sure that molding covers that part here. So I generally try to have a fat piece on the bottom if I can, simply because I'm going to have another piece coming up, and instead of just basically having two pieces the same size, now I'm going to have one that's going to stand out a little bit, because it's going to be this wide or close to it, maybe not be exact, and then it's going to give a little bit of depth there. Alright, and then I'll explain about the size of the hole here in just a minute. So let me find a piece, or go cut a piece that we can put in there, and I'll show you what we're going to do next. Okay, I'm back. Actually, it's been a few minutes. I got a phone call, so I got interrupted. I had to turn the camera off, so we're starting a different video, but it'll all be laced together. What I've done is I figured, just roughly based on the width that I wanted, that I needed a piece about 3.5 inches wide. Was able to find something from the scrap pile, and all I did was bring in the piece and forget the measuring part. What you want to do is you want to put this stuff in here and then mark it and cut it. so you got as tight a fit as you can get. So here we go. All of this is custom made, so it's not that I know that every time that this is 14 inches across, 3.5 inches wide, none of that stuff. Everything is measured and marked on each and every cooler, just so you have that kind of special look. So what I've done, of course, we saw the hole before, and so what I've done is I've traced the hole on the back side, just reaching around, putting this piece in place like that. I've marked which sides are which way it goes down, which side is going to the right, just so that I'll know. What I'll do now is I will actually take my 1.5 inch bit. Now this is the back side. I'll take my 1.5 inch bit. I'm going to drill roughly halfway through this piece of wood, or a little bit more. Since this is a thick piece, as with this cooler, everything is thick. This is going to be a heavy duty cooler, but I'm going to drill at least halfway through with my 1.5 inch spade bit in this hole, and then I'm going to come back, because once it gets about halfway, it's going to give me a pilot hole on this side. I'll come back with a 3/4 inch bit and finish the hole out, and I'll show you the reason for that. But what's basically is going to happen is that's where the spigot will go. It's a 1/2 inch in diameter, but I need a 3/4 inch hole in order to screw it in, because it's threaded. Just a quick, excuse my mess here. But here I have all of my different pieces laid out, and what we're looking at is just a standard garden spigot. Has a 1/2 inch opening on it. So what's going to happen is once we get that hole drilled, this will actually screw. We'll actually screw it into the wood and have it sticking out the other side. The reason I have the 1.5 inch hole, excuse me once again while I make another trip to my bin. Over here I have all my plumbing pieces, and we're going to use several of these. These are just regular plastic PVC, but you can see that this one is threaded. What's going to happen is I'm going to screw this one in from this side, and then, excuse me, this one will come in from this side, because that's all you're going to see. You won't see anything else. This will be in here just like that. On the back side, I will then screw this into it, so I'll be able to glue my pipes into that. So I need that little extra opening on the back side in order to screw this piece onto the back side of here, and I'll just use a little silicone to create a joint there so that it won't leak. So let me do a little bit of drilling here. We'll get back and we'll finish that part of it up. Alright, I'm back, and as you can see from the front side, all we have is a little bitty hole. But if we turn around on the back side, we have a bigger hole. So what's going to happen is I'm going to take my valve, and get this piece of paper off just so you'll be able to see a little bit better. And I'm going to thread it into this hole here. And now, very important that I get it started straight to begin with. And I can see that that's crooked already, so I'm going to need to use both hands. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tighten this all the way down so that this part here is flush with the wood, this part here. So you won't see any of this here from the outside. So give me just a second to screw that in. Alright, so we got our piece screwed in. That's what we're going to see. So now we got our back side here. You can see that the reason that we wanted that 1.5 inch hole is so that we can screw our coupling in. I've already put a little silicone around it, and as with everything else, We want to make sure that that starts straight and stays straight. Easier to do with 2 hands, but I think I can get it with one. And I want to get that on there as tight as I can. And again, we're doing it one-handed, but I think we'll be okay. I want to get it as tight as I can, because once this is in place, and that looks pretty straight. You can see we got a little silicone in the center there. So what I'm going to do, just take my finger. I'm going to run it around in a circle. Just sure because that's going to dry and it's going to make a bond. It's going to make a seal there because we don't want any leaks. So a little bit on my finger. Just wipe that off. And then what happens is, we're going to take this piece, because remember we got it marked, so I know that this is the way that it goes, and this is the way that it fits in the hole. So this is what we'll see on the outside. Okay, other people won't see what's underneath. So let me glue and nail this into piece, and then we're going to turn the cooler on its side so we can finish up the plumbing part of it. Alright, we've got the cooler laid on its side. And a couple things that I wasn't able to show you before, since we'd already put the cooler in and stuff, but I've added braces here on each end here. Both of them I have added liquid nails. I don't know if you can see because I use the clear kind. Doesn't matter, but I've added liquid nails at a point here and a point here, and then those are nailed in on each end, and this is basically what the cooler rests on, and that baby's not going anywhere. I don't care what you do to it. Now we have our drain coming from here, and then we have our part going out to the actual spigot. So we got to join those together, and very simple plumbing procedures that we're going to do. And we go back over to our handy dandy little parts here. We're going to need an elbow, 90 degree, and we're going to need one more coupling. Here we go, that's threaded on one end. And then we're also going to need our primer and our cement, and then we're going to have to also cut some pipe. Alright, so for those of you that may not have ever done any kind of plumbing before, this will give you also just a little bit of experience in that, and it's very simple. This is not rocket science whatsoever. The first thing that I do is I'm going to attach this piece here, this coupling, and this is what is called a threaded with a slip joint, which means that this end here, I don't know if you can see it or not, but yeah, see the threads right there, so that can screw onto this part here, and then we have the slip joint, which is just smooth, so that pipe can be fitted into that. And we're going to be using 1/2-inch pipe, PVC pipe. That's all it is, just standard plumbing stuff. So here again, we're going to put silicone around the edge of this and screw that on as tight as we can get it. Right now, everything is tight as we can get it, even this. Even though we're going to wind up loosening this joint, right now we want everything tight, just simply because we can get the measurements right for the lengths that we're going to need. So what I need to do for right now is to get this piece on there. I can't do it with just one hand. I need to put some silicone and then get that started and making sure that this is straight. So give me just a second to get that started, get that put on there, and then we'll come back and show what we're going to do. Alright, it's actually has only been 20 or 30 seconds, but to let you know, I have got this piece screwed on there. Now, for those of you who are thinking, well, that's no big deal, it's just, you're just screwing one piece onto the other. The problem is that that the threads on this piece here are not the same size as the threads here, so it may take a couple of times to get it started just right so that it comes out straight. If not, it's gonna, when you do it, it's gonna wind up like that, crooked some way, and you don't want that. You want it to be a straight joint so you can line everything up. The other thing that now I've got to determine is if I need, obviously I've got to have a piece of pipe cut to join these two together. Okay, I can't just stick them together and say, okay, abracadabra, y'all stick together. Yeah, that don't work. Even if I use glue and cement, that's not gonna work. So there still has to be a piece of pipe in there. And so what I do, this is strictly by eyeball, but I look at it now, that is almost a perfect alignment there. I've got just a very slight downslope going this way, which is what I want, obviously. So all I need to do right now is to cut a piece that is long enough to go inside this piece here and this piece here, and that will be roughly about 1 inch. And that's all I need to do, and we're going to prime it up, join these two pieces together, and then we'll measure this piece here, which normally is around 11 to 11.5 inches. They're all about the same. This sometimes varies just depending on the thickness of the boards and stuff like that. Sometimes I may actually have a gap. I've seen a couple this long. Here again, going back to our original video where we talked about needing at least 18 inches or so, this is why, so that all of this is hidden, so that when you're looking at the cooler, you never see any of this part here. Alright, so that's why this length here is important, to make sure that this part is covered. And 18 inches will be more than enough to get that accomplished. But looking at this, basically I'm going to need to cut 1 inch of PVC pipe, which is 1/2 inch, and then I'm going to join these two together. So let me go cut that, and I'll show you what we're going to do next. Alright, I'm back, and I've cut my piece. And for those of you who are wondering how did I cut it, simply use my miter saw. One of the best ways to cut PVC pipe to get a straight edge. And if you have a burr, you can possibly see it right there. Most time you can pick it off with your fingernail. If not, just use a pocket knife or any kind of knife and just kind of trim it down a little bit. But other than that, it's going to give you a smooth cut. Now, believe it or not, the longer or older that this pipe is, the bigger chance there is that this will split or crack even. So obviously you want to use fresh pipe, but if at all possible. So when I buy it, I only buy it in 4 to 5 foot lengths, because that's going to make, geez, probably about 20 coolers. So I don't need to stock up on a lot of pipe, because if you do and you start trying to cut it, it's basically going to disintegrate. I know it's a little strange to understand, but that's what happens with the pipe after it sits around for a while. So you want to use fresh pipe if at all possible. You could also use a hacksaw to cut this if you need it. So there are 2 basic components that you use when putting together any plumbing project. First, we have our primer, which goes inside this piece here to coat and to get the piece ready for cement. This is the purple stuff, and it will stain anything and everything it comes in contact. I'm not trying to cover up the camera there. It'll be a little bit harder to do. What I'm trying to do, show you, is that I need to coat this entire thing without getting it on my camera in the purple stuff. And I can't really see my finger there. There we go. So we're putting the purple stuff all over that, and this stuff will dry within 10 seconds. Alright, so it's not that big a deal. But those are the two basic components anytime that you're putting together plumbing. You got a primer. Ooh, show where I missed it on there. Let me catch that. I'm going to just leave the camera rolling. I'll try to, maybe I'll sing you a song or something. So let me cover all that. And basically what this does, two purposes. It cleans the pipe, and it also gets it ready for the cement. If you just try to put cement onto this pipe without any primer, it's not going to hold. So very important that you put your primer on there. We've got it on this joint here. We're also going to put it, just while we got it open, let's go ahead and put some on it here. And all we're doing is just coating the inside. And over every joint, every PVC joint, there is a pre-marked section of how far the pipe will go in, as if there will be no physical way that I can shove this piece all the way up in there, because it will stop when it gets to this point here. That's just the way that all joints are made. It's not possible to jab that all the way up in there. So what I'm going to do now, and also please do this in a well ventilated area. Here I'm using this cement. Now I don't have to rush. This is not going to dry on contact, but all I'm going to do is I'm putting this piece up in there, and I want to push it to give it just a little bit of a turn. That's going to give me my seal right there. Alright, so I know we had one a minute ago, which probably fell off or something when I went to move the cooler around. So let me back up here carefully so I don't trip and get another one. Alright, so now we have our other piece. This one here is a 90-degree elbow. It is a slip on both sides, which means there's no threads. So all of this is going to be glued. I'm going to stick my finger in one side here. And I know you can't see a lot of this, but trust me, I'm just putting purple stuff on the inside here. Yeah, I got some on my finger. And then I'm going to put some more on the other side. So both of our end pieces are going to be ready to go. Alright, so we've got purple stuff, the primer, on both ends here. So now I'm going to put some cement. I'm going to put some cement on the part that's sticking out. So it's going to go around. I can stick it on the inside of the other one or the elbow. I mean, this doesn't matter. I'm going to get cement. And all I'm going to do is stick this to it. Give it a little twist. Just like that. Hold it for just a second. And boom. We have us a joint. Now, if you're being a real professional, you would wipe off this little excess cement and purple stuff. Make it nice and clean. But we're not being professional. So, now, the issue that we have, obviously, is that we have a fixed point here. We have a fixed point over here. We got to get a pipe in there. All right? And the first thing that we need to do is to figure out what the length is. Now, here again, perhaps a new tool for some of those of you out there. It's a ruler, but it is not your standard tape measure. It's actually a stick ruler. The best accurate form of measurement there is. And as you can see, normally it would come to about right here. So 10 3/4 would be our optimum length that we would want to go, the longest that we want to go. So I'm going to cut it just inside that, maybe 10 5/8, okay, because it doesn't matter if it's all the way in there or not. But so let's just say 10 5/8. You see that right there, okay, and then you'll see that that's all the way to the edge there. All right, so let me go cut that piece and I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. And I have cut my piece. I went ahead and primed it off camera just so I could make sure I got it all the way around. So we have our pieces here, and remember our problem was we had a stationary point here, we got a stationary point here. We got to fit a pipe that goes in between both of those without breaking this piece. Well, let's remember we have this slip joint, or this threaded joint up here that we can loosen, which I've already done. So now, we can spin this all the way around like we want to. So what we're going to do is swing that out of the way, and I'm going to try to set the camera here just so you can see. I don't know how much of that you're going to be able to see, but without it falling off. I don't want it to break my camera, my phone. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and put cement on both sides here. Here again, we're not in any hurry whatsoever. Take our time, make sure we got good coverage. And some of this you probably won't be able to see because I've got to use both hands. We're going to slip it into one side, give it a little bit of a turn. We'll come back to the other side, which is now free and hanging. Push it together, hold it for a second. I'm going to go ahead and tighten up that knot. I keep calling it a slip knot. I don't know why that. This threaded piece here, tighten it back down to where it was. Tight as we can get it without breaking it. We don't want to break it. Bingo. We are now plumbed and ready to go. Okay? This is all dried. Will not leak. If you do get a leak, it's going to come from this part here. And all you'll need to do is tighten it up just a little bit there, okay? Now, the next important thing, if you're not a plumber, is to make sure that you put the tops back on these very securely, because they will dry out in a heartbeat. They used to make smaller cans. They probably still do, but I just couldn't find them. But these have lasted me, these cans here, both cans here, well over 100 coolers. And so I want to continue to be able to use them, so I want to make sure I get the tops back on tight and secure so that no air, because if especially the one with the cement, if it ever freezes up, you won't get that bad boy open for nothing, and the purple stuff will just evaporate, and all you'll have is a cotton swab sticking in there. Alright, so we are done with our plumbing. When we turn this cooler right back, right side up, you will not see any of that. But we now have a functioning drain system within our cooler, and it's also time for a beer. The best part about making coolers. Alright, so let me put the camera on pause and get the camera. Geez, you think I had about 12. Let me get the cooler back on its feet. Alright, just a quick look here. Look underneath. Nothing. Okay. Nothing there. We have our drain that is fully functional. I always want to turn it off when I deliver to the customers. So the plumbing is done. And we have our part inside. So let me just pause it for just a little bit. Alright, so the part I'm going to work on now is building the top for this. So I'm going to be off the air for a little while because it's now about 10:30 at night, and I've got to get this cooler finished. So that means I still got to stain it, sand it, and do some other things. So we may be making it in a third video up, and I apologize, but it just takes a while to film and then do it. So I've got to go ahead and get this thing finished. But if nothing else, I'll be able to show you a finished picture of what this one looks like. But we're coming along, assured that it doesn't take as long as it seems when I'm filming, because obviously I'm standing here talking when I could actually be building. But just to give you the basics idea here, we're going to build a frame. It's going to go around the outside, basically just a box. Normally that's like 29 by 29, something like that. Well, maybe 29. It's 29 and 27, something like that. They're pretty much all the same. The height of it is normally about 2 1/4, but these boards are a little thick, so I still got to measure. Basically, all I'm making sure of is that when I lay the boards across to make the top, that this piece on the side here comes up to meet them. It's not down below and doesn't raise them too far up above this cooler here, because I still have to attach this top to the top that I'm building. Okay, and the way that's going to be done is through nails and through screws to the other side. So I can't have it standing like 3 inches above the top of this of the actual cooler, because then there wouldn't be any way to actually affix it to it. So I want it to be almost flush coming out here. Now, of course, you got a little slant on your cooler here, and you got a dip here. You got to take that into account. But normally about 2 1/4 thickness over here, just to get it up over that side, all the way around. It's the same thickness all the way around. And then all we'll be doing is just laying boards across to fill in this cooler top here. And then we'll be putting hinges on the back side. We'll be putting a few decorative pieces on the top, a little handle to lift up, depending on how this front board sticks out. And then I've got a very special sign, which I'm hoping I really get to show you, but I got a very special sign that I'm going to put on this one for this friend, because this is going to be a Christmas gift, so I'm really trying to make it special. This is going to be a one-of-a-kind, which I've done one-of-a-kinds in others, but this is going to, I'm going to actually have to route out some places here on the top and on the bottom to get the sign to fit in. Otherwise, it would stick out and just be flush, and I don't want that. I want it to go up against the cooler itself. So that's where we're at this point. I'm probably this is gonna be a stopping point for me tonight as far as filming. Probably won't get this uploaded for a couple of days anyway, but I need to get working with it, because I still got to stain it to put the shelf on the bottom, and that's going to take a couple of hours to do. So probably will be a part 3 on the next cooler that we build, which will lead into the final preparation parts of building the top and that sort of thing. So until then, y'all have fun with what we've talked about, and remember, it's not, I'm probably making it seem harder than it is, but it really is not. It's something that you can enjoy and really take pride in, something that you built for practically nothing. I don't know if I have discussed this at one point, just a quick thing. Okay, we spent $16 for the cooler. Boop, boop. Cooler right there. $16 for the cooler. We spent $2 for the drain. We spent $4 for the wheels, all 4 wheels. I just buy the pipe fittings and stuff. They're like 19 cents a piece. So let's just say $1. But you know, I've got 100 of them, but let's just say $1. So we got $1 there, $2 there, $4 there, so 7, 6. So we spent about 23. We're going to spend about $25. Okay, not including the sign, and then there'll be a Coke opener over here. That's another $2. Signs are normally about $9 to $12. That's the range that I go for. So with all that said, we're going to spend about $30 to $35 to build this cooler. Now, that's with all these extras. If you didn't want to put any of these extras, you'd be spending $16 for the cooler and a couple bucks for the drain. That'd be it. But this cooler you could sell. Listen up, folks. This cooler you could sell every day, at least here in the South, for a little over $300. Okay, $40 investment, free wood, $300 in sales. So you're looking, let's just say minimum $260 profit. Not too bad, is it? See you on the other side. Alright folks, we're back, and as you can see, this is now a completed cooler. I know I skipped over a whole lot of steps, and we'll go back and redo those. Excuse me, but I was really getting under a time crunch to get this one finished. And it's pouring down rain outside, so I had to come inside and finish up a few extra little details and stuff. But just wanted to run over a few other little quick things with you on what we did, just to give you a general idea. You see that's with the lid closed. We got the sign. We're going to put a little Coke opener right over there. But basically, since we left off, I've made the top. I've attached the sign. I put the bottom shelf on down here. And all the top is, you'll notice here, is we still have the original cooler, which we want, and I'll show you why in just a second. But we still want the original cooler. So we built a box around it. Normally this is about 29 inches. That's pretty standard, 29 inches here. This may vary because of the width of these boards here. And I don't remember exactly, but I think about 18 or 19 inches. And I'm going to write all this up so that you'll have a cut list to go by. We build this box. We will make sure it's square. And then what we do is we take pieces of pallet and just attach them. Here in the back, spin this bad boy around, you notice that it's flush. Okay, flush back here. We have our hinges that we use. It does not matter what kind of hinges that you use. These were some that I just got a fantastic deal on. They're actually cabinet hinges, and they're not really made for this, but they still work. It does not matter what kind of hinges that you put on it. Just anything that will give it that kind of flip action there. But the main thing is on the back side we're flush. And then as we spin it around, you'll notice that we have just a slight bit of an overhang on the front, which is what I'm looking for, and this is what I shoot for each time. Have a little bit of an overhang. I have a handle here, or a grip, whatever you want to call it, so that the person could just boop, pop it up like that. We add these. These are more decorative than anything else. But they're still glued and nailed down. You notice they're not exactly all the way to the end. Excuse me, not all the way to the end there. And here again, that's just kind of a decorative piece. If you step back and look, you know, it just kind of adds a little bit to it there. But what we do, remember we talked about, we cut this cooler away, the top part of it, that is. We cut that part away, and all we do is we build this box, get everything lined up how we want it, and all I do is then shoot nails through the top of this, which then go into the cooler. Now, the important part is to make sure that this original top is sitting firmly down on the cooler itself, just like it's in place. Like it would normally be attached. It's got to be in the right position to do that. And then we come back and we just put some sheet metal screws into that. Now, one of the things that you're going to notice, and this is no big deal whatsoever, is that a couple times you may have some nails come through. Okay, not going to affect a thing whatsoever. If it bothers you, then you could cut those off. But people are not going to be fooling around with the top of the cooler, so we're just not worried about that whatsoever. So the nails from the top side and then the screws from the inside affixes this cooler to our wooden frame, and it's not going anywhere. And what I've started doing on the last 20 or so is I go ahead and make my top completely. Put everything, put the little handle, put the little decorative pieces on, and I go ahead and stain everything. Even what's under here is stained. And simply because what I found was trying to stain around it and around the top, that just took longer than trying to stain the whole thing. So the top when I build the top gets stained top and bottom, and then it's set aside to dry, and then I attach it to my cooler here. So here again, that's just personal preference. That's all it is. So, but looking at the top, you would never know that there are nails shot into this piece of wood that actually hold the top in place. Now, one other thing that's extremely important, and I'm hoping I can be able to catch it with this microphone, but when you shut a cooler, you have a distinctive locking type sound. Just kind of a little click. And I'm gonna open this up. Now it's not shut. So listen to this. Okay, that's what I'm looking for. That means we have an airtight seal on the cooler. That's not the wood hitting that. That is the actual cooler making its seal, and so that's what I'm looking for. Because I don't want to change that whatsoever. You notice I've cleaned up the inside, so we're all nice and pretty. This cooler is ready to go. One of the things that this is the very first time that I did this. The particular people that ordered this cooler are giving it to someone that is an Auburn Tiger fan, which I am also. Anyway, this sign was a lot larger than what my opening was from the top of the bottom piece from the bottom of the top piece. So what I had to do was actually cut out around here to be able to get this sign to fit in there, but it really looks fantastic. It's almost a Duck Dynasty type look, and I'm probably going to market this particular cooler because I can get this sign at Academy Sports. So if you're wanting to make one like this, very easy to do. And I've attached the bottom shelf. All this is beadboard that you can buy at Lowe's. What I did in this particular case was I went in and glued all the pieces together before I attached them here. Let them set overnight. I added some stain. And got a little splotchy there, but you know, this is a Rustic cooler, so that just kind of adds to it. And then I put them down and attached them with nails with my pneumatic gun. So this cooler is done. We have our drain over here. It's a full working drain. It's been tested. I test every cooler before I send it out. Actually fill the cooler up with water and then drain it, and then wipe it back out. So know that it's working. I don't have any leaks, or even if I do have a leak, I'll be able to tell the customer, hey, listen, I'm experiencing a leak in this one particular joint. Just make sure you're aware of that, because by this time there's not much that I can do about it. So, but here we have. I know it seems like, geez, probably taking 2 weeks to build this one stinking cooler, but in reality, this same cooler here could be built in a day with no problem. A total of 4 pallets went into this just because I added a few extra pieces for this person, since it is going to be a Christmas present. So a total of 4 pallets. As you saw the other day, I've already got those pallets back, so yeah, I haven't lost anything. So let's go over the expenses just one more time. I know we talked a little bit about that. But of course, we got the cooler, which is the biggie. That's we'll say 17 with taxes. The sign, this particular sign, now it's not real wood, but it's under cover here, so I'm not really worried about that. And it's got a little bit of coating on the front. But the sign here was $9, so that's well within my range of $9 to $12 of spending for a cooler there. For a sign. So we got 21, 22, 22. No, 17. Now we got $26 there. $2 for our cover here. For our spigot there. So we're up to 28. Then we got a little bit of plumbing. We'll add $2 for that. So we're up at 30. And then we got our wheels for $4. So we're at $34. Let's just round it off. Say $35 in investment in the making of this cooler. Now, of course, you got your time. But if any of you that do craft work, that sort of thing, you just really don't get your time back. However, this cooler, even though this one is being given away practically, but the customer did buy the cooler itself and gave me a little bit extra. But normally this cooler here would retail for about $225. Not bad for a day's work and a $40 investment. So I made $180 off of this one cooler. And when you start counting up the number that you can make, not a very bad business whatsoever. And of course, depending on what town or what team, your signs. Sometimes I use clocks. Metal signs are preferable, obviously, because the cooler is going to be outside. But you can find all sorts of things to make them look unique. But we're done with this one. It's ready for shipment. I'll load it on the truck tomorrow, and then it'll be out of my hair, and it'll be Christmas time, and I'll stop working on coolers for just a little bit and then get back into it. But I'm going to go ahead and post this one on my blog tonight and start taking orders, and I can just about guarantee you probably by the end of this week after Christmas, so I'll probably have about 10 orders for this particular cooler already. So I hope y'all have enjoyed this. If you have questions, I know there were several steps that we did skip. I'm going to try to write it up the best that I can, what you cut list and that sort of thing. But still, please do not hesitate to contact me. I am not hiding anything. There's no one in competition with me. I don't care if they live in the next town. That's not going to hurt my business one bit. So I'm more than welcome to share the information that I have and give you any tips through the experiences that I've had. When I came along, it was just kind of trial and error type thing, but I don't have any problem sharing with anyone on how to make these coolers. And if you just want to make one for yourself, hey, no problem whatsoever. You will enjoy it, and you will get a lot of comments about this cooler. So until next time, y'all be careful out there, and we'll catch you on the next project.